Hi guys, welcome back to Telegenic. Today we're going to talk about how you can change your webcam image from this to this with just a few simple changes. Let's check it out. Well, as we have to continue to work from home and we're on more and more video conference calls, it's getting pretty clear that my webcam is not so great. In fact, my computer is pretty old. It's a 2012, and so, therefore, so is my webcam. So I went online to try to find a new one, right? You can't. They're all sold out. So what are we supposed to do? So if you're like me and you're suffering from low-quality webcam syndrome, well, this video's for you. Let's see what we can do. Tip number 1, eyeglasses. Okay, this first tip is for Mac users. If you are a Mac user, you know. You have zero control over your webcam. When you turn it on, you get what you get. There's no controls for exposure or brightness or gamma or saturation or anything like that. But I happen to find a little piece of software called Eyeglasses. This little app allows you to make some simple adjustments to things like exposure and white balance and contrast and gamma. And what you're going to want to do is experiment with these settings until you find one that you like. Then you set it as a preset. Eyeglasses shows up in whatever video chat software you use, like Zoom or Skype or Hangouts. You can just select it as your camera, and then you're good to go. They even have a free trial so you can see if it works for you. There are a lot of other goofy little bells and whistles that come with it, so if you're in the mood and you want to have a little fun, go for it, right? Just don't do it on a business call. Oh, and I'm not paid by Eyeglasses at all. I have no affiliation with them. I just think their software works really good, so give it a try. Tip number 2, light your face better. Lighting is a huge topic. I mean huge, really huge, and there are lots of different opinions on what the right answer is. However, there is one universal truth that I think everyone agrees on, and that is light the thing that's important. And in this case, what's important is your face. So in this room, I have several lighting options, one of which is just a general overhead light. Now, while that's really good for seeing, it's really not so good for being on camera. It kind of just washes everything out and makes it all flat and dull and boring. When you're on camera, you want to think about creating pools of light that help your viewer focus their attention on where you want them to look. And so in this case, we have a pool of light around my face. So how do I make that happen? Let me show you. So let's take a little look behind the scenes. First, you'll notice there's a few lights over there, and that's because they're balancing everything out. Let's talk about what each one does. Okay, the first thing I want to do is I want to kill that overhead general light. And then I'm going to work with these 3 lights right here. The first one is kind of a fill light. This light here is just a simple light, a simple clip light that you can pick up from any hardware store. It's great. It cost me a couple of bucks and it does the job just well. I'm going to use this light and bounce it off a reflective surface to kind of give me a little bit of a general fill. The same is true with this light over here. It's just a little cheap hardware clip-on light with an LED bulb inside. Now I can't bounce this off of this area over here, so I'm softening it with a tissue, and I can do that because I'm using an LED bulb. If you're going to use just a regular light bulb that gets hot, you can't use tissue. Best to use something like baking paper or parchment paper that is heat resistant because you don't want to catch fire. And finally, let's talk about my key light. This is a light from a company called Neewer. And if you see on the back here, turn it around, from Neewer, I can adjust the color temperature and the brightness. It's light, it's small, I can move it around exactly where I want it to be, and it fills my light space that I want where I'm sitting, just like I want it. And lastly, let's talk about the lights that I'm using for my backdrop. These are just some simple spotlights that I picked up at IKEA, and they are focusing up high here and not directly on the wall, because if I tilt them down too much, it creates too much brightness. Remember, I'm trying to create pools of light. And so I want this middle area here to be kind of dark, and this to be bright, and that area to be bright. It creates more of a professional look that I'm happy with. Okay, then. So that's basically it. I have a little pool of light on my face. I have some darkness right behind me to separate me from the background, and a little pool of light in the background. And that basically is it. So I hope this has helped. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time.